have our menorah fully loaded, ready to light with all 8 candles plus the shamash, and I have our blessing sheet, and it's time to finish up Hanukkah candle lighting. So Hanukkah will still last until about an hour after sundown tomorrow, but before that happens, it'll be Shabbat too. So that'll be it for the holiday this year. So I have my humanistic ideals for Hanukkah candle lighting sheet from the Society for Humanistic Judaism. Hopefully you got something similar. And the 8th candle is dedicated to Shalom, or peace. We light the last Hanukkah candle to express our hope for peace and understanding in the world. The scriptures say, "How beautiful on the mountains are the feet of those who bring good news, who proclaim Shalom, who proclaim peace." That's from Isaiah. As well, we've been sort of mentioning whatever the Trua dedication is. And the Trua dedication for tonight is to education and science, which lots of people recognize as humanistic and as Jewish values, but in particular during this moment, this year, education and science are really, really important. Things like going and getting vaccines when they're available, and understanding basic principles of science so you understand when things change. Those are all important. They're all critical. And education is critical because in a democracy, ideally, education should be about producing people who can be educated citizens, who can make decisions, who can vote intelligently and in a thought-out way. So with those ideas in mind, the idea of peace and the ideas of education and of science, and how they all really do connect together to democracy, because American democracy as we know it is the product of the Enlightenment, which really focused on the ideas of education and science as being able to create something like the peace we want to see. Keeping all of that in mind, we light our Hanukkah candles and we'll recite the blessing afterward, and that will be it for Hanukkah for the year. Other than maybe you're going to have presents after this. And remember, we put our candles in right to left, but we light left to right because we're always lighting the newer one, with the idea that we're increasing light and not reducing it. We'll use the blessing that I've used the last few nights. Nivarech et ha'or ba'olam, nivarech et ha'or ba'adam, nivarech et ha'or b'Chanukah. Let us bless the light in the world. Let us bless the light in humanity. Let us bless the light of Hanukkah. And I should point out something. We talked a little bit about what the shamash does, but we didn't actually talk about why there's a shamash in the first place. So we should do that. So with the shamash, the idea is that it lights the other lights, right? It's a helper candle, right? The root shin mem shin means to use or to help, right? So synagogues have a shamus, which is really a shamash. Okay. So part of the idea is that the rabbis were concerned. The rabbis first really talk about Hanukkah in an extended way in the Talmud. And they're actually talking about Shabbat candles when they start talking about Hanukkah. And their discussion goes something like this. Can you use Hanukkah candles for something else? And the answer is no, you can't use Hanukkah candles for anything else. Hanukkah candles are for you to look at on Hanukkah. But it also means you can't use one Hanukkah candle to light the other. So the 8 days worth of candles are not to be used for anything. So you need an extra light to use to light the other candles, which is how we get the shamash. Its job is to be the separate light that can light the other ones that can be used, that isn't part of the kind of core group of Hanukkah candles. And so that is why we have a shamash. So that's it for Hanukkah for this year. I hope that I'll see some folks soon for Fast Friday Shabbat for families, maybe tomorrow, or for Kabbalat Shabbat tomorrow evening, or Havdalah maybe on Saturday after that, or some other time. So, Chag Urim Sameach, Happy Hanukkah, and thank you for joining us for all of these candle lightings over the last week as we mark each day of Hanukkah, this particularly unique Hanukkah in which we are all sort of in quarantine and not doing Hanukkah the way maybe we would have done it with family and friends before.